Asaf. Hey, here we are. Back in the
Well,
spaceship.
back in the spaceship.
Hey
Welcome to the
everyone.
great transition, everybody. Great to be here. Hello, people.
All
YouTube,
right.
Facebook, wherever you are.
I see Bright
Thank
is
you
Bright is
for
in Facebook. Lucinda, hey Lucinda,
Bright.
Susanna, Mara.
Bright and David Mancini, they're like quantum particles. They're everywhere. They're in two places at the same time. And in general, everybody, welcome and thank you for projecting your digital selves into our digital spaceship to go into this virtual world in this imagined reality that we have no idea what it really is, but we know it is changing. It
Definitely
is,
opposite from whatever was.
yeah, exactly. That's all you need to know. That's all we need to know. We're going to a place where no one has gone before. To boldly go where no one has gone
Okay, with
before.
the science fiction. Okay.
All right. All
Hey,
right.
Eric on YouTube, and David is also on YouTube, and John and Dot. Hey, Dot and Patricia and Azra Al Sherish. I know I probably said that wrong last time. Tell me how to pronounce it. Um,
I see
Guy
Lucinda
Rosell.
and Kevin James and Siv and
Silke, yeah.
Melissa and Esgy and yeah,
Julie in Utah. Steve in Michigan.
Cliff, Cliff
Sushi
from
Smita.
Plymouth.
Hi, from Kabu. I see recognize your name from Kabu. I answered some of your questions there in the forum. And Augustus in Finland and Larry in South Africa. Wow.
Woo!
Awesome. Hello, everyone.
Great
Yehuda.
start. Great start,
Yeah.
everybody. Corey, hey
Francisco in
guys.
San
Hey,
Paulo.
buddy.
Cool. Um,
Francisco, Stacia. All right. Terrific, you guys. Terrific. Always a good
Cliff
idea
is
to remind us where you're watching from. Say it
Cliff
again
is
and
with us
again.
from Plymouth,
Yeah.
Mass. Ali Olson from Israel. Rena from Kansas. All right. Yeah, let us know where you're from. It helps everybody feel connected to this global thing that's happening. I know you got a lot to talk about. I know you're loaded up. I know your chamber is loaded. Um, uh, Let me show you something, and then you find a place to launch in. This is something. Uh, it's not new. It's a few years old already. But the reason why it's so cool is I don't think most people have seen it. Have you seen this? You see that green building there?
These are okay. I didn't see this specific picture, but these are what? Vertical farms? Vertical farms?
Nope. This is not a vertical farm. This is just a building in Singapore,
Can
and
you
there's a
make it
bunch of
bigger? There
buildings.
we go.
You see
Okay.
that better?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
do see that better.
So
Where,
there's
what is
all these
this?
different things. Nature has
Bio,
all these very, huh?
what does the caption say? Show it again. What is
Okay,
it?
hold on.
Biophilic design?
Yeah, that's some word. Biophilic design.
All right.
There's a bunch of buildings like this. The reason
Okay.
why I think it's so fascinating is not because every building needs to become a green building, although that'd probably be great, but
It does look
but
awesome.
it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I, I I have a long history of killing houseplants. I don't know how, what it would take to actually keep that thing. That might have been like day one,
Oh,
like after
dude.
6 months after
Ten-
it's brown and like,
enter tangent number one. the my my wife is on a roll right now with houseplants. Like that's her
oh, I
thing
love them.
right now. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like just we gotta put one here, we gotta put one there, now we
It
gotta
feels
put
so
two
good to be
here.
surrounded
We
by
gotta
them.
put
Yeah.
No, I get it, but when it's like now we need them everywhere. Now it's like now they need
No, I'm into
like
that. And I like big ones and little ones and
you're
everything.
not
But
you're not
see,
helping me. She's watching and I need some support here.
no, I'm all
Yeah.
about that. Ali, I support it completely. I'll send you pictures
Okay,
of my
forget about
kitchen.
that tangent. Let's go back to
Okay.
the
So
mhm.
I was reading a little bit about it. It was about this kind of opposite design because when we think of like going back or we think about what a technology, again, this is not the ideal that every building should end up like this, but it's a different way of thinking
Yeah.
because what happens is it's not like the idea here isn't that we continue that I was reading one of the guys, these biophilic designers or whatever. He says the idea isn't to just continue living a completely wasteful life and surround yourself with plants.
Okay.
The idea, right? Maybe that's why you're not
Because
liking
I
it.
was
Maybe you
just
haven't changed. Maybe you
no,
need
but
to change.
when I see this kind of, this building, it does bring
Yeah.
up to mind like, okay, so some rich guy in Manhattan, was gonna put some plants in his penthouse, and now is gonna call himself green or something like
Right. So,
that.
okay. So the concept here, which makes it so cool, is that you may not have known this, but the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and the wind comes from the north, right? There's these certain things that happen all of the time. So, um,
Groundbreaking stuff here, Seth.
groundbreaking
Yes.
stuff you're hearing here
Hmm.
on the great transition for the first time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
sometimes we have this thing, like we have McDonald's. So we have these things in America called McMansion, where somebody like buys a giant
Right.
forest and cuts down every tree and then puts like 100 of the same homes,
Yeah.
on there. The
Okay.
issue there, I mean, it's a good concept, but the issue is if you always know that the wind in the winter comes from this side here, if you cut down all the trees here, so everyone's going to need to crank their gas a lot more in the winter to stay warm. But if you just
Okay.
left that line of trees, you would already prevent, wind and rain and
Yeah.
cold hitting the house from here. And if you also know that the sun shines over here, if you want to warm the house up a little bit, you put some windows on that side, right? You don't put that where the sun shines, you don't make that the back of the house with no windows.
Okay, so you
Right?
design according to how nature designs.
Some subtle things like that. So by doing this, so for example, in the United States, there's something like, I don't know, 100 million tons of carbon dioxide that's produced from air conditioners, right?
Right.
So just by designing nothing groundbreaking, just turn your house a little bit this way,
Right.
or just maybe put plants in your window or something like this. It's small things, and all of
So
a sudden,
so you're really talking like central planning and systems
just a
design.
different way. It was
Just
just a really
just
nice when I saw it and started reading about it. I said it's just a different way of approaching. You're not fighting against the problem, like fighting the CO2 company. All we're starting to do is, if we're going to build a house, let's just turn it so that it faces the wind correctly and faces the sun correctly. And if we're going to build something, or if we're doing something, let's think about the other things that are already happening. Because if you could, you imagine, I mean, I'm sure you'll see when you have these plants in your house, you like walk out of the bedroom in the morning, even if you have them in the bedroom, you say, oh, it just feels a little more calm. And if you have them outside, so then you end up getting birds and you end up getting
yeah.
butterflies and you end up getting flowers, and it's a different kind of feeling. So another thing they did cool on this building was they designed the front of it in such a way where like in New York City, it's very, very clear. At certain streets, the wind is coming off the water very strong, and then other places like in Midtown, you don't feel any movement of air. So depending
Mhm.
on where your building is, also
Yeah.
and how the air is moving, you can design. They designed the front of this building, so there's always like they call it knots is how you measure speed on boats. I don't know for whatever reason they call it knots. There's always like a 3 knot breeze that's like passing by in front of the building because of
Right.
how they designed it. Yeah. So there's so much that nature's already basically nature's doing everything, and it's a really good example to show how we can kind of get on that horse and go with it.
Well,
Um,
if you take that train of thought and you go really far with it, you come down to a point where everything we design and everything we produce and everything we make is this perfect synchrony and harmony with all of the natural forces around us. And then, you won't have any. It's totally, there's all kinds of, I read too about, oh man, I forgot how it's called. There's aquaponics, maybe. There's all kinds of methods, can't remember. But
you
there's
mean when you grow
beautiful,
without soil?
yeah, things like that. Yeah,
Hydroponics?
hydroponics and aquaponics. I think that's two different methods. There's all kinds of there's different kinds of urban designs
Mhm.
that are in the plans and mostly not realized because, but basically it's the same train of thought that if you take into account more than just how do I make money, how do I make a profit, what's which is typically the end result that people are looking for when when they're real estate tycoons or whatever it is, to make whatever it takes to make these decisions. So if we would take into account things like balance with our environment and taking what nature already gives us and not exerting more pressure and pollution and depletion
But
and
to the
so
real
on.
estate tycoons who are
Yeah.
watching the show, I would say to you, you can still make your profit. You know what
Okay.
we just need to
Okay.
change what we're purchasing. We just
Entertain
need to
me.
change what we're purchasing. It's the exact same thing. The kids, every kid, I got two teenagers. Every parent knows this. Every unless you're, a Mormon without electricity living in Iowa somewhere and your kid never saw a cell phone, they may be the only ones who don't. But anyone
Which we
else,
still respect and love.
they and by the way, if you're a Mormon living without electricity, we'd like to hear from you if you're also affected by the modern world. But all of our kids have cell phones in their hands all the time. So instead of saying, like real estate tycoons should make a profit, or like children shouldn't have cell phones, or like trying to stop a train that's going a million miles an hour, it's impossible to
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
Um,
and in general, all of this, just gotta I gotta throw this in. Whenever I see all those, recycling campaigns and let's ride bicycles to work and that type of stuff, which I don't disagree with the principle of it, but it's just all that kind of green activism is just trying to swim against the current.
you feel
That's
inside of it that
that's
there's something about it
basically
that's not natural. Like it's a good idea, but there's something about it that's
no.
not
I'm saying it's ridiculous that we are supposed that people are supposed to fight their own systems, fight
right.
their own kind of work, like backpedaling. It's like no, it doesn't, that doesn't make sense. It just means we need to get to the core and understand why there's poor planning to begin with, why there's designs and architecture and automobile designs and everything. Why don't we take all these things into account to begin with? Why? Because we're not incentivized. Everything, in order to reach production in any area of human engagement, in order to do something in the current modern world, it has to be there has to be a profit motive, and it has to be the leading motive, and that's
I
the
know, but I'm going to
problem.
keep adding it. I'm going to keep adding this. That I don't think there's a problem with I thought about this
Okay.
long and hard. I was a hippie. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to eradicate money. I don't think we can. I don't think we're going to take away the profit motive. I think that it just needs to be that the importance needs to change. You can still build
Okay,
a cool
now you're
building and
teasing me.
sell
Now
stuff.
now you're teasing me. You're teasing me to get. We want to go there. You want to go
I want
down
to go. That's
the rabbit
exactly where I want
hole
to go.
of money. Yeah, you want to.
Oh, money?
Yeah, you
I
want
was
to
talking
talk
about the
about.
importance, but we could go down the rabbit hole of money. Why? So when we think about the kids who have these cell phones in their hands all day, right? It's actually not a bad thing. Developers want to build big buildings. It's not a bad thing. Why are they being fed? Who is paying? These people are only these companies that are feeding these networks that are feeding our minds all day, that are basically paralyzing our brains all day. Like they're only doing it for money. Who is paying them? Where are they getting money to all day long paralyze us with this horrible content and keep our kids like why
Okay.
are we not attacking them with this intention so that they can feed us something else? If you're in front of the phone all day, feed them goods, teach them how to be a human being, teach them what's up with this, who's where's this money coming from, who is paying these people.
Well, if you talk
uh,
about social media, then okay, take social media. What I'm saying, my argument is this: because there is a profit motive that is deeply embedded in the at the inception of every industry, at the foundation of every industry, you cannot have that industry bring the best result. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking. I'm not talking from any hippie perspective. Let's get rid of money. Let's just peace and love, and we don't need. We don't. No, no, no. I'm saying we are shooting ourselves in the foot. I'm saying we are misusing our resources. I'm saying that we are poorly designing our infrastructures because of the profit motive. And I can show that to you, I bet,
Okay.
in every area. I don't know, think of, every your phones, you mentioned phones, right? Okay. So, you know, why do you how does production happen in our current system? So you have companies that are competing, and they already have several next models that they know that they're going to produce that are
Do you have an
better.
iPhone, by the way?
We're Israelis. iPhones
You don't have
are
iPhones?
not
I'm sure that
that big here.
every
Most of
time
the
they come out with
market
a
share
new
here is
phone, or every
Android.
time they come out
Yeah,
with a,
yeah.
it feels like every time they come out with a new phone, the one you have now stops working as well.
That's planned obsolescence. The designers of modern economics, they took that into account. Dude, I studied this in university. Like this is common knowledge for for economists and marketers. It's part of the whole. It's part of capitalism, to be honest. That's how it works. We design things to be broken in
I think
order,
they actually
you
send
know,
software to it that kind of corrupts
there's
it a
all
little bit.
kinds of
So.
ways to do it today. There's all kinds of ways. There was a time when not long ago when a lot of the time what would get worn out over time in a phone is the battery. Why batteries? Because that's the smartest thing to get a person to still like the phone and like the brand, because it works okay, works good, but after a while the battery just doesn't hold, and then you see all of a sudden you remember we had removable batteries. Was that ever a reality with the iPhones? uh,
No.
I think with the iPhones, it was never the case. Android phones were always with removable batteries. And then at some point, all of them just changed to non removable batteries. And I bet you that this is one of the reasons. Because then, you could put a certain expiration date on the battery, and then a person would just have to go get a new phone. Unless you really want to be a nerd and try to like buy some kit from eBay and open your phone and replace the battery, which most 99% of people don't do. The companies are and companies, if you want to create a product, whatever product it is, and it is you want it to be, if you really want to economize, right? If you want to make it the best product, you will need to preserve as much resources as you can in the process of making it. You'd want to make the most durable, effective, cost effective product there is. Doesn't matter what it is, a table, a phone, or computer, a cup, whatever it is. So you would have all kinds of considerations to make it durable, to make it serve its purpose, and so on. Once there's a profit motive, you have to factor into your production. You have to think about marketing calculations, such as, wait, we can make it really great, but then in 3 months we won't have anything else. We won't have the new model to produce to create another buying surge. So let's just do it a tiny bit better than the competitors, and keep the plan for the next one, keep it in the drawer and produce it. Already know that we're going to produce it in the next 3 months to make sure that we keep this competitive edge, this differential advantage. So that's because of the profit motive. When you look at
Okay. So, but I mean, I could watch a
planned
hundred
obsolescence.
videos.
Yeah, okay.
I can look at thousand
There's
videos about why things are
this
bad.
is
So,
this is common knowledge. I agree. This is like everybody knows that. So I'm saying it's in everything. It's in everything. We have a problem. Now, I'm not talking about money necessarily being the problem, but I'm talking about how we use it and the motive by which we use it. And that has to do with our belief system. That's why I asked you if you want to go down the rabbit hole,
yeah, go
because
for it.
that's you don't sound too
I
excited
don't know where you're
to
gonna
get
go.
into
I
that.
wasn't prepared for it, but I'm up for the challenge.
I wasn't prepared for it either. You brought it up. You
Let
triggered
me
something.
mention before we go in. So you
Yeah,
prepare yourself to take us down a rabbit hole and try and pull us back into the great transition.
we know. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
So Julia on Facebook said, small, simple changes can have a huge positive impact on the environment. We all need to start thinking about what we can do to make these changes.
Hmm.
And we are a huge, huge global force here on this show. We have friends with us from Finland, Nigeria, Singapore. So as we go through this, imagine
Oh
that
boy.
above, yeah,
We
imagine
we
that
need to
above
start
this,
adding drum rolls to this or something. We're gonna come up with it. Yeah, we're gonna every time we do a global check, there should be like a really
some item, right? Yeah.
like a sound effect. Yeah, we'll do it. Yalla, go for it.
All right, so let's imagine that we're here, we're in our bodies, right? I'm sitting here in New Jersey, Asaf's sitting there in Israel, Bright is sitting somewhere in the UK. Uh, let's imagine that we all can feel each other as we're reading down this. Imagine there's somebody somewhere in their car, in their desk, wherever they are. Some are feeling good, some are feeling bad, but we all are aiming towards, we're taking a little bit of time out of our day today to aim towards this unity that's above all of our differences. Just that simple, just that simple thought while we're going through this, thinking of everybody else. Finland, Nigeria, Singapore, Kiev, Austria, Scotland, Nigeria, Israel, North Carolina, Norway, Northampton, Mexico, South Africa, Minnesota, Saskatchewan, Puerto Rico, Colombia, South America, Denmark in Europe, Argentina, Washington, Portugal in Europe, New York, California, West Coast, Brazil, Colorado, Kenya, yeah, Africa again, Iowa,
Woo!
Tenerife, Philadelphia, Bulgaria, Toronto, Canada, Washington, D.C., Northampton, Houston, Texas, New York, Germany, Quebec, Arkansas, Greece, Italy, Oregon. Is that you, Deborah? Michigan, Barcelona, Spain, Brooklyn, Utah, London, Salt Lake City, the West Indies, Houston, Florida, and Birlik, Turkey. All right, Turkey. All right. Wow. Saf. Whatever we did to deserve
Wow.
such an amazing
I
connection.
wow.
And
Guys,
Trinidad. Hold on. Roseanne is here from Trinidad. Hi, Roseanne.
this is so heartwarming. This is great. This is amazing
Really?
because
Okay.
we're always like thinking about this great transition. It's like this is what Seth and I are thinking about most of the time. This is once you kind of um, look at this great goal that nature has designed for us, and you start identifying with it, and you learn about it from the Kabbalistic texts. It really becomes you start to want to harmonize with it. And when you see, and the biggest thing is the biggest thing about harmonizing with nature's goal is doing it with other people, because it's not something you can do alone. It's just impossible to do alone. Nature's goal is to create a more advanced level of connection in nature called human connection. And so when we see this, it's just so great. I think it's a good opportunity, Seth, to mention that the show very soon is will go on its own dedicated YouTube channel, and that's where we'll be broadcasting probably in a few weeks from now. So we mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. Please be aware of that. We will send the link to the new channel as soon as it's up there, and when it's up, please just come with us to the new channel, be the first subscribers, watch the show there, and help us, grow the show and really expand this awareness and this whole discussion about the great transition to more and more people.
So
It
we
can
have at
only happen
least
with you.
three African countries here. At least I saw. So there's Nigeria, there's South
Morocco too.
Africa.
We have Morocco
Now there's
also.
Morocco and Kenya.
Yeah,
So at least four African countries here. That's unbelievable.
it's
So
incredible.
what's
It's
what's so
incredible.
incredible, everyone, just think about it. We're not here because we're all the same religion. We're not here because we're all the same sexual preference. We're not here because we all are voting for the same political candidate. We're not here because we have some economic interest. We're here to because we're learning about nature from which everything comes from. And we're learning that the plan of nature is to create to make life right? At first, it was like dust that came out of the Big Bang and just flying, burning plasma, and then it cooled off, and then vegetation, and then animals, and eventually us, and now this matter, 14 billion years out from, uh, um, sorry, 8 billion years out from the Big Bang, is uh, is realizing, hey, who am I? What am I doing here? And so these people, us, we're all remembering, like from before the Big Bang. We have this kind of gene, this DNA inside of us. It's not something dependent on where we ended up plopped out on this one ball flying through space. You ended up on that side of the ball and I ended up on this side of the ball, so we're against each other or something. But we're all recognizing that beyond that, whatever part of the body we're in, that we're all one together. That's what this great transition is about. It's moving from, like, really the animal state of our being, where I live in a cave and you live in a tree, or you live on that part of the ball and I live on that part of a ball, to a new way of seeing everything, where we're all one, above eternally, above time and space. Asaf, brother, are you ready to dive down into money
Yeah,
with
I don't
us?
I don't know if that's our there
Sometimes I
was a
get carried away. I'm
there was
sorry.
no,
Just
no, it's good. It's all good. There was a frequency, Seth, and I don't know if it's still in
on.
the
I blew
air.
it. I
I
lost
don't
it.
no, it's all no, it's all good.
So
Um,
inconsiderate.
so David was asking, is human connection going to be more and more digital? And that's also something I'm thinking about a lot. That's a huge rabbit hole right there. I mean, technology, VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, all that stuff. Not that it's not that it can change the course of evolution as some tech philosophers think, um, but it does represent um, the speed at which we are changing. You know what I mean? Like the technology, ultimately, all of technology is an expression of humanity's desire to bridge all of the gaps of time, space, and motion. So we are
Say it
creating
again.
things.
Say it again. I believed you when you said it, but when I thought about what you said, I remembered I didn't realize any word you actually said. So, but
Everything
you said it
we
in a very believable kind of way.
yeah. Let me try
Okay.
to say it again. We live in a reality because of what we know as the shattering from the ancient texts of Kabbalah, right? What we were all one thing. We were one entity. We're still one entity, but in our perception, we lost it. So as soon as we scattered and shattered into myriad pieces, those gaps, those spiritual gaps between the entity of oneness, that one entity that created many pieces, those gaps between the pieces are the constructs of time, space, and motion. When we rise back to the sensation that we're all one, time, space, and motion become irrelevant. You know what I mean? So you
We're not
know.
identifying as this piece of flesh that I'm,
Uh,
this protein body that I'm living in. We're identifying with that.
okay, so a simple, partial, and fragmented, but still an example is that when you are in love, then you can be miles away, countries apart, time zones apart from your loved one, but you can completely, if you're in love, you can completely be lost in your loved one. Doesn't matter where they are. Everything you hear reminds you of them. Where you lose the sense of space, you lose the sense of time. You know, and then you go back to where you are. Okay, no, that's again, it's a fragmented example because this is still on our level, so it's still psychological, but it's still very powerful. And so everything that we feel in these five senses within the constructs of time, space, and motion is the result of separation from the quality of love that exists in the depths of nature that we need to uncover. So from that state where we're in now, everything we're doing, consciously or unconsciously, mostly unconsciously, is to go back to that state of wholeness, eternity, beyond time, space, and motion. The technological innovations that we come up with, if you think about everything that we create, what is it about? A faster car, right? A phone, an internet that connects us above time and space, right? Even the glasses, like, right? You went for shopping for glasses this week. Did you find something, by the way? Did you find something that I like? That-
You did. I found something I like, but when I sent you the picture, you
no,
said you didn't like them,
did
so
you
I didn't.
find
I just
something
well, I
I
just left.
like?
What?
Did
I
you
didn't find
find
something you
something?
liked yet.
No, so you didn't get it.
No.
Good. You see, guys, that's a friend. That's a
I wanted you to be happy when I wear them.
back anyway. So even that piece of technology, what does it do? It is supposed to help your blurry vision, make it sharper. Overcome that gap of not seeing, see more. Extend your short-sightedness. So everything that we do, all our technological innovations are in some way an attempts to overcome those barriers of time, space, and motion. And why the hell did we go there? I'm sure there was a reason.
Being in love, something about money, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, but what there was a there was a
I don't know,
reason.
but you made me think of something. So I'll say it, and you tell me
But there
if
was
you
an
remember what you were
impetus,
saying.
there was something, there was like a reason that
See
I
you
don't
and your
know, man.
tangents. You should make a note when you go on a tangent. You should
I
drop
don't
an
know,
anchor or
man.
something flag so you know where you're
I'm
going.
sorry, you guys. I thought there was a.
You'll remember. You'll remember. Cut me off as soon as you remember. So the movie that
Oh
we talked
boy.
about, The Social Dilemma.
Did you
Remember
did
that
you
movie?
did you end up watching the whole
I
movie?
didn't finish it yet, but but there's something about what you said. This guy was like, we evolved for billions of years. The problem is that the ads are coming at us at a rate of, the computer can calculate at a rate of this, and we developed from this way, and for 100 million years we didn't have the ability. The computers are developing faster than we have the ability to process. I was like, wait, he's missing something. Do you understand what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
guy was complaining that not complaining, he's rightly so, saying this software, these machines, these phones, and the social networks are being programmed in order to hijack us because they're thinking faster than
Oh, dude,
like.
you I have to give it to them here because the end of the movie they made some very proper conclusions, I would say, and you missed it. So
Okay, so hold off on the end. Don't spoil it yet. But on that point, um, I think there's a mistake there. I think
okay.
because the mistake is anything that people create is just a reflection of who we are and what we're capable of. It's just that it's being used wrong. This brain of ours can calculate. We're not just a monkey. That's the whole thing. This is just a modem that connects us to this huge system that is way beyond what a computer can make. Or I mean, a computer can come up with an ad faster, or figure out how many times you blinked, or how fast you scrolled, or what measure all of your chemicals and tell you what's the best meal for you right now. But that's not what the purpose of our entire life is to just maximize the animal experience. We're talking about a life that's way beyond, like you said something about also beyond time and space. Does that have something to do with, do you remember yet what you're talking about?
I I can't remember why I started talking about it, which is why I can't remember where we wanted to go with it. but
Mm.
but it was an
It
interesting
it
thought.
wasn't the money thing, right? It
No,
wasn't about
I don't
money.
think it was the money thing. But let me wait. You just said about the social dilemma documentary, right? You didn't watch the end of it,
Not
so
yet. I will.
yeah,
Have my
for
word.
2 weeks we're talking about you watching the end of it, so we can exchange our impressions about it. So, uh, I think that that opportunity, that sail has
That ship has
that ship
sailed.
has sailed. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right. Fine. Fair
So,
enough. So tell me
I'm
how it
just
ends.
gonna tell you. So at the end, they do reach some of them. Um, if you guys have no idea what we're talking about, there's this documentary called The Social Dilemma, and it's about all the woes of social media. And what's interesting is that the interview there, you can catch it on Netflix or maybe somewhere else. I don't know. And they're interviewing people who were big shots on Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and Google and all the rest. And
The
that's
guy who
what's
invented the like button, for example.
yeah, like this sort of people, and all of them, like across the board, unanimously, they all agree that social media is is causing a lot of trouble to the point of global crises and to the point that it can lead to civil war, addiction, and so on. And they talk about the problems with the algorithms and so on. And what they get to at the end, which Seth didn't see, so you know, is where you're trying to lead them. Now they actually, again, I'm not saying the whole movie was so brilliant in its insights on how we need to change our society, but they do recognize, at least some of them in their interviews mention, that the problem is the incentive behind how those algorithms are designed. That like you said, the algorithms, they can maximize, augment, utilize, amplify everything that we want. The problem is they're aimed at maximizing, augmenting, and amplifying, you know, what brings money. Again, the profit motive.
Before
And
you said when
that's,
you feel in
yeah,
love, you feel beyond time, you feel beyond space. You kind of feel like this eternal
yeah, kind
feeling,
of. Not
right?
really, but kind
So,
of. Yeah, yeah,
okay, as an example,
yeah.
if you're feeling really in love and
Why is
some
it though? Why is it though?
hold on, just put it on the side for a second. And you get fed an ad for something that will fill your emptiness.
Nice,
You don't care about that ad at all.
nice.
Now, on the other hand, if you're feeling alone and depressed and you get fed some ad about something that can fill that emptiness for a minute, of course you're gonna um, click on it. So there's a way around it that the part of it has to be this kind of conscious, maybe attack almost on, we're not going to buy stuff that is hurting our children. We're just not. If you're creating things that are hurting, we're not. And so that will make that plant kind of, that weed kind of wither. But on the other hand, there's another part of it. And that's what we can do here is when we start loving each other, when we start realizing what system we're in and behaving as more than animals, start behaving that, like you said, when you love someone who could be very far away in another country, you can start to sense that connection.
Yeah.
So when we start feeling what system we exist in, we have people from, now we have India here as well.
Woo.
And now, and Egypt, I saw Kiko was here. So it's like 4 or 5 African countries. So we got Europe and South America and Africa and North America and the Middle East. Um, well, if we can start to imagine this network that we have and start to imagine that there's other people who care about us, there's other people in life who care about us, who are thinking about us, who want good for us. So we're not those ads, right? It's good that there's great technology. We don't want these companies to stop making technology. We don't want these companies to stop making systems for us to be able to communicate. In fact, we're on 2 of those systems, YouTube and Facebook, right now. Thank you guys for making these systems. Those people out there, if they're spying on us, but um, we, but keep them alive, not through destroying our lives and paralyzing our brains.
but
Um,
but
so,
but but here's the thing,
yeah,
uh, Zuckerberg. We can do, after you watch the end of the documentary. We will give it another shot, and I want us to take a look at what Facebook wrote as a response to the movie. I think that's an interesting discussion to make, because this is there's some points there that points of comparison between the points made in the film and what they're trying to respond. But the problem is that you're in order for these systems, social media, to really work towards connecting people, and at the very least, not to contribute to addiction and division, right? In order to do that, they have to change their whole aim. That's the problem. They have to change their aim. Because if I want to, if I don't serve you ads, then how will I make how what's the goal of the company? The goal of the company is to make money, to make a profit, and they do that by selling you and your data to advertisers. And more than that, by training your brain to click on certain things to make you more to use your malleability to gradually make you more prone to buying certain things. That's what the algorithms are doing to us, and that's what they're selling. So that's the whole issue here. um Anyway, where do you want to go with this?
I want to unite all humanity.
Unite all humanity. Okay. That's
And
why didn't you say
and
so? Why didn't you say so?
yeah,
That's
that's how. Okay, and we're not like the issue. You brought up something earlier, like the bike sharing and the recycling. I always had some kind of feeling inside, like, of course, I was once in Denmark, and everybody was riding their bikes to work, and everybody's riding their like in the morning. There's like traffic in the bike lane. It's like that's so smart. Like New York is just so congested. So of course that would be great. People getting around on bikes and skateboards and whatever. And of course it would be good if everything that was recyclable was recycled. But there's a feeling that I always feel in these things, like you said, like we're trying to backpedal. It's like you're riding your bike and then you drive past a building and there's like a mountain of plastic trash there. And then you ride your bike past the next building and there's like a mountain of plastic trash there. So it's like, we're not, you can't fight against the system and try and make this like kind of other little thing that's going to try and be, no, you have to
you
go
got to
with the flow.
you
We're going
got
to
to
design
change the whole
buildings.
system.
Great. Design a building
Hmm.
with the new world in mind. Let's think, what does that look like? Let's talk about it. You want to have a kid, the kid has a phone in his hand all the day, technology, we can't stop technology. Fine. What are we going to feed him all day? Because when the kid starts to feel love, when this kid starts to feel connected to his friends, at some point he's going to be like, hey guys, everyone's going to be on their phones, and they'll be like, let's meet at 4 o'clock. I'll bring the soccer ball, or let's meet here. Let's all go
Yeah.
swimming, or let's like, they'll want to connect. They'll want healthy relationships. Feed them science, feed them how life works. It's not a problem. Instead of fighting, limit the kid's phone. Don't let him go on this Facebook. No, just change the direction to
Okay.
something.
Okay. So in order to change the direction, we first of all, I think we have to identify we have to change the direction of all our systems. That's what I'm feeling very very strongly. You cannot just try to use these band-aids. That's the word I was looking for before, right? Every time, recycling, it's a band-aid to a broken system. Limit your
Right. Keep producing tons and tons and tons of crap. Just take some of it and like make yoga
exactly.
pants out of it.
Yeah, let's make sure that all the food going to waste will go instead of that to those who need it. I'm not saying that's not a good thing to do. Sure, it's a great thing to do, but
That is a great thing to do.
why is this happening to begin with? Again, so we have created systems. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You gotta fight your way, into all those systems in order to make them work for ourselves, for our benefit. Because as long as they're motivated by the wrong incentive, we are shooting ourselves in the foot, and we're creating
Try and say it
a
without
world.
using the word wrong.
So it is the wrong incentive. It is the wrong incentive. Okay, yeah, okay.
No,
Not
no, I
using
wouldn't say that a
it
kid who
is
does something
okay.
bad when he's 10 years old is
I
actually doing it
agree.
wrong. That's where he is on
Point
the
taken.
process of development, if you
Point
look at it
taken.
from the right.
It is no longer, and I'll get to the good part. Okay. I'll get to the good part too.
That's what
It
I
is
paid for, so I hope
it
so.
it is no longer suitable for our current day and age. How's that? Okay? We are entering a stage in our evolution where all our problems are going to be global. Hello COVID. Everything we're going to see from here on. Can you hear me okay? Like this? Yep. Everything we're going to see from here on are going to be only, we're going to see more and more global problems, global issues. Because just like COVID, everything else that's going to happen is going to show us that the problems that we're having have the same common root. And that is that we need to create a new incentive for human life. And that new incentive has to be deeply intertwined with positive human connection. That's where we have to go. So when we're talking about love, when we're talking about connection, we're not talking about some hippie idea. We're talking about the infrastructure, the solid basis, the foundation, the the only basis of the future. Because the current basis, which is individualistic success at the account of others, egoistic incentives, self centered interests, and profit motives, these are no longer sustainable in a system that has become globally interdependent. That's what's happening. So you created technology, so Mark Zuckerberg had an idea, and he wanted to make $1 billion, and then he came up with Facebook, and then he saw he can use advertisers and bring more money into the system, and then it grew to the point of 2 billion users, and now you connected the world with this thing. But oh boy, now we're so interdependent that this network influences all of us, and those advertising driven algorithms advertise all influence and shape the minds of all our children and our youth and so on, that they make us addicted, and that they make us divided, and they keep us from advancing to the next stage in our evolution. And the next stage is where we not stop technology and stop medicine and stop agriculture and stop architecture and real estate or whatever it is, but we need to find a new incentive for these systems to be driven by. And that new incentives is, how do we bring more prosperity, balance, well-being to the whole system? How do we make people more positively connected so that they begin to actually, you know, reciprocally contribute to each other rather than constantly fight each other?
Isoke Jacobs on YouTube
Yeah.
said, "What about capturing and using the resources that we have, including social media, for the purpose of communicating and disseminating this method, thus opening the circle of connection?" So Isoke, that's what we're
That's
doing
what
here.
we're
That's what we're
trying
trying
to
to
do
do here.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why we're going to move to the other channel. We saw that there's something here that's catching on. So what's going to happen also, it's important to understand that we're not philosophizing here. And if anybody catches us philosophizing, please let us know right away. We're not making up some theory here. What we're doing is we're studying the systems in nature and seeing where they're going. So what happens is everything we see in nature, the iPhone, everything that's developed, you got, one guy maybe comes up with the idea, and then you have a team of engineers, and you have a team of developers, and then you have marketing people, and then a million people buy the product, right? And in the same way, we're like the Mark Zuckerberg of the connection. We're like the Steve Jobs of the connection. We're here running all the wires between Egypt and Morocco and India, and we're laying all the foundation, and we're talking about how nature's system is connecting us all above this. And once we feel it, that it's actually a reality strong enough, other people in the world will be able to benefit from it. We'll just be able to receive it just like that through their thoughts. They'll wake up in the morning and feel, because those thoughts are not in the air, everybody. They're not here. The thoughts of all of our global connection, the thoughts of all of our love do not exist. They don't exist. What exists? I wake up in the morning, I want coffee. I wake up in the morning, I want someone, I want to be filled. Right. That's why we're always being fed all these ads and everything. Like I right away look at my phone, and I got messages from 10 people. Which one can I answer first that's going to make me feel the best? And all day we're going through the day like that. The thoughts of love of another don't exist. It's just not in the network. It's not natural. It's not natural because it's something that's specifically on a degree called human, or specifically on a degree called speaking, which is above an animal level, which is, we can call it, I have to pay $5 every time I actually use a jargon. It's a spiritual thing. I put my $5 in the jar. I had to go there. I couldn't think of a better word. We're talking about a spiritual connection, to think of a better word for it, connection, that connection beyond time and space. So we're building that here. That's what we're doing, by all thinking about each other. And then the rest of humanity will start to nourish off that. Those thoughts will already be in the air because we put them there, because we made these connections.
Deborah was asking, how do we bring more prosperity, balance, well being to the whole system so we reciprocally connect and benefit each other rather than fight each other? So, this is, to continue what you just said, is this great transition that we're in, it happens in layers. And what's happening right here, right now, with this beautiful, incredible list of people who are connected from all parts of we have pretty much all parts of the world today connected
We
with
don't really
us
have
right now.
China, but we do have the West Indies.
Okay, so China, we're waiting.
We're looking
Um,
for you. Yeah.
so uh, so all the people who are with us right now, feeling this, understanding this, who have this capacity of the mind and the heart to envision this future state, that's where the great transition begins. No, there's no other way that transformation happens, whether it's in an individual or in a group or in the global society of humanity. Transformation, meaning a complete change, always starts from a change of consciousness. And we here represent the pioneering, I don't know how to call it, the pioneering collective of the great transition, the people who are capable of envisioning this and wanting this. And then when that is solidified, there's one thing we shouldn't remember. We shouldn't forget. I'm sorry. It's hard for us to remember it, that we're all connected. All of humanity is connected. We're all dependent on each other, connected in wires and threads that are unseen to the naked eye. Uh, um, we are all connected. We're one species. We're one superorganism. And that's why this consciousness about the future of our connection is something that will is already rippling through the system. And then people will suddenly start getting different thoughts and different ideas. I see what's happening now, even that film we talked about. The fact that people are beginning to recognize where we've what we've reached, sort of a recognition of the negativity and fallibility of our current state of existence, that something is not in line with where we need to go evolutionarily speaking. The fact that people begin to identify that and make movies about it, there is this sense, there is this emotional stampede underneath the surface, that is like a movement towards this new state. And we are the ones here who are consciously recognizing what's going on. The more we grow, solidify this consciousness in more people and more qualitatively in each and every one of us, the faster it will spread across humanity. More people will understand that we need a change of incentive for human evolution, that we need to aim for our next level of connection that nature is pushing us towards, and we'll start seeing our infrastructure changing. We'll start seeing changes happening. Couple that with the troubles that we're now going through, such as COVID and other global problems that may increase and take place, and that's the perfect storm that needs to happen. hopefully we can avoid the troubles and just, move forward by consciousness. I hope that was somewhat of a clear vision, Seth. I don't know, help me out here.
That was very nice. We have five African countries with us now. We have Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, Morocco, and
There
Ethiopia.
was a
So speaking
question
about,
from Yuda Barak. I think it was this. If we connect to nature, which is running a system above time and space, do these systems really affect us?
beautiful question. Perfect question, Yuda. The reason why they're affecting us. So on one level, of course, they're not. Of course, you're when we reach this new perception that we're calling spirituality, we'll feel our eternal reality. But in order to get there, we do it through all of these systems that do affect us. And the reason why we're in this body is so that we can emotionally develop all of these things so that we actually feel all of them. We sort all of these things in our mind, uh, in our emotions, and that's the purpose of it, so that we can feel disconnection and feel connection, feel what is the opposite of love, and begin to feel love, and not do it just as an animal or an angel on instinct. Saf, we have a couple minutes left. Here's a question for you from Pia Maria on Facebook.
All right.
What about?
Is she
Well,
is
what
she new
about?
here? Is she new, or at least asking for the first time?
Yeah, I don't remember Pia Maria. I think I
Hey,
would
Pia
remember that
Maria.
name.
All right.
What about beings hanging onto a drug, for example, tobacco? Are they too much connected to the destructive side of our common connection?
Oh boy, addiction is a whole topic. We're all addicts. We're all addicted to. Our brains are designed to be easily addicted to things. Even the people who think they are the farthest from being addicted to anything. We're addicted to coffee. We're addicted to our phones. We're addicted to all kinds of behaviors. We're addicted to. Some of us are addicted to anger. So, there's addiction is part of human nature. So whether it's destructive or
I want to be
constructive,
addicted to love.
exactly, exactly, whether it's destructive or constructive, that is determined by the social rewarding mechanisms around us that have the power to shape our neural pathways so that we become addicted to things that help our development, that assist us in our development. Every habit is an addiction. Some habits are great. If you have a habit of, I don't know, like good work ethic, and some level of addiction could be good. If you're over working, if you're a workaholic that, because of that, you don't do other things that you should do, then that's a bad thing. So there's a certain level of of addiction and aim of addiction that could be a good thing. All of this depends. How can we reach balance? How can we use all our inclinations in a non-destructive way, like you're asking? Only if we create an environment that fosters human connection, an environment that encourages us to connect with each other and to connect with nature. That's the incentive that's missing in today's world. Our world is coming to a stage, to a turning point in our evolution where we see that all our systems will crumble and will become unstable and unsustainable unless we change that. And so connection and love between people is going to become not some airy fairy hippie story. It's going to become a required the very basis of our existence in the future world.
So
And that's the
when
great
when Zuck
transition. Yeah.
when Zuckerberg was in his dorm room in college, he didn't know that he was going to have $1 billion company. I mean, he could have thought about it, but he didn't know what it actually feels like. And when Steve Jobs was making Apple, he couldn't have known it's going to be the most profitable company. He could have imagined, but you don't know what it feels like. So we are now like those guys. We're like in the small garage building the connections together here. But unlike them, we do know we're 100% going to be successful because we already know the plan. it's the plan of nature, or it's the plan is in the wisdom of Kabbalah called the creator. So Samuel Lima asking final question, what does the creator want us to do today for
Mm-hmm.
better tomorrow? And I think, Asaf, that's exactly what you just answered. Even if in our regular bodies, we don't feel that it's happening. We're like in that garage trying to connect all these wires, and I'm trying to think about Kiko in Egypt, and I'm trying to think about Baruch in Ethiopia, and I'm trying to think about David Mancini over in Canada, and someone over Vivi down in Brazil, and someone over here, and connect all these people in our hearts, and just start laying these wires start filling. They already exist actually by nature, but they're not filled with our thoughts and our emotions yet. So let's until tomorrow, until we meet again, let's try to fill this network with these thoughts of love, and soon we'll start to see that leaders of countries and people on the street, they start to receive it. So Asaf,
Yeah, we gotta wrap. We
that's
gotta
it, man.
cut.
That's
We
it.
gotta go. We will see you on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Thursday.
We will let you know when the new channel is happening. Please keep that in mind. We want you to be the first on this channel and do this transition together with us, and help us expand and grow this message, help this message reach everyone we can. Here's a one sentence answer to Samuel, and for everyone, for all of us, really. Nature wants us to care about each other tomorrow a little bit more than we do today. Let's try to work with that. See you on Thursday, everybody.
Waking up to a new day. We're looking for some. If it feels that you lost your way, there's nowhere else to run. Try to rise above reason and hold on to your name. Finding love in the seasons, without loving in vain. One heart, one soul, one desire, one goal, with one voice, one song, with one solution. All for one. Like a child, you lift me. You show me the way. Every voice in harmony. Together we pray. Try to rise above reason and hold on to your name. Finding love in the seasons, without loving in vain. One heart and one soul, with one desire, one goal, with one voice, one song, with one solution. All for one. All for one.